Clash in Paris ended with Becky Lynch helping Seth Rollins retain the World Heavyweight Championship, indicating that the power couple may be more of a unit on screen moving forward. Monday's Raw saw both of them celebrate their wins on Sunday. Let's take a look at everything that happened on Monday's Raw at the Paris La Défense Arena in Paris. For this is Ridiculously Raw. Hey there, welcome everybody to another edition of Ridiculously Raw. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined, of course, as we all know, Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by the phenom, Michael Bullock. We are awaiting the presence of good old MF Michael Fletcher. If he comes in, we will catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we will hopefully have him back with us Thursday night for the Week 2 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. Ridiculously Raw here tonight. You know how we do it. We have Monday Night Raw and NXT as always. But we're also going to add something else to the show tonight. We are going to preview the opening Thursday night NFL game that goes down this Thursday night between the Dallas Cowboys and your reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles. We will have a small preview of that tonight. And then on Thursday, when we finish the college football previews, we will also preview the Friday night NFL game with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers from Brazil on YouTube. So we'll get into that on Friday, and on Thursday, and then Friday, of course. Well, you know what that is, but we'll get more into that as we when we get to the end of the show with the future content. So with that, let's dive right on in. Monday Night Raw, of course. Well, in this case, Monday afternoon Raw for all of us. With yesterday being Labor Day, of course, we got to, for those of you who didn't have to work, you got to enjoy it. And it had a special start time at 2 p.m. Eastern on Netflix, and got to watch it live. And newsworthy show, let's just say that, for one specific reason, which we'll get into. And I know we're going to have quite a bit to say about it. So let's start it off. Of course, after the obligatory Clash in Paris recap video and the usual shots of everyone making their arrival at the arena, main event Jey Uso made his way out to a crowd full of people chanting and singing for him. He was still banged up and in a bad mood after what happened at Clash in Paris. He said he did not regret helping Roman Reigns, even though it ended up getting him hurt because it's family. He called out the vision for a fight, but LA Knight came out and said, he said they both lost Sunday night, but it was Jey Uso's fault because he couldn't focus on what mattered. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed came out on the stage to talk some trash after a few minutes of back and forth insults. The Braun challenged Uso and Knight to a tag team main event. Babyfaces accepted the challenge to end the segment. Pretty standard stuff. I mean, LA Knight was making some good points. Logic is not always a big part of wrestling, but it's nice when it shows up. And Breaker getting upset at the crowd for singing was funny. But, I mean, it's your typical opening promo. I mean, just once, I would like to see WWE shake things up a bit when it comes to the start of Raw, instead of having to do the same 20-minute long-winded talking segment, and instead of a match. I like to have, a good solid wrestling match start the show instead of the elongated promo segment. You could do that later, but switch things up once in a while. That's just all I'm going to say about it. So it's the typical segment. So if it's okay, I'd like to bypass this, and I'm going to bypass this. So with all that being said, we are now going to dive in to our first match of the evening, which was, bear with me for just a minute here. So I got to get all this up here. All right. Just trying to find it. Oops, I got something talking. Okay, video, pop-up video. Okay. All right. The first match of the night was a tag team match in the women's division, which featured the the Kabuki Warriors, and they squared off against. I'm sorry, I got a lot of pop-up videos here. Okay, here we go. Now I got what I need. Okay. All right. It was a women's tag team matchup. The Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, squaring off against Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. And the Kabuki Warriors actually win this match in 11 minutes and 35 seconds. Okay. A nice I kind of thought with the recent tension between the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky, I thought that might have struck here. I thought it would have reared its ugly head here, but surprisingly, it did not. Decent match, but the way it ended stood out as strange, especially from the usually flawless Asuka. And I mentioned the tension because Io Sky was shown talking to Asuka and Kairi backstage. It was clear Asuka did not want Io's help last night, even though they helped Io previously. Tension being built slowly. And that was the big takeaway from this match for me. And surprisingly, the Kabuki Warriors went over here. So yeah, for me, okay. So the time of the fall was 11:35. The Kabuki Warriors win the match. So I'm going to give this in excess of 3.25, teetering on 3.5. So not much for me to add. Michael Bullock, come on in. Kabuki Warriors defeating Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez in 11:35. A little surprising on the outcome here, especially with the recent tension between the Kabuki Warriors and Io.
Yeah, I'll give this about 3.25 here. I mean, like you said, I mean, you thought with the tension that's been going on with the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky, well, I think we stand corrected, Florio, because it's mainly Asuka and Io Sky. Because remember, Kairi Sane, you could just see how conflicted she is. I mean, it's like she wants things to be better with them, but it's like it's only getting worse. So it'll be interesting to see where Kairi Sane stands with all this. So, but yeah, either way, the backstage stuff didn't really affect the Kabuki Warriors. So, 3.25 stars is my rating. So it's yours, Florio, as we move right on along.
Okay, we go from the women of the Judgment Day to the men of the Judgment Day, as it was Finn Balor with JD McDonough in his corner squaring off against Dragon Lee, and Finn Balor wins the match 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'll give this about maybe 3 stars here. I mean, and I think there was some chicanery, right?
I mean, not really. I don't really see anything about any chicanery here.
All right, maybe it was just me because of what happened later on in the night with the ruling when it came to the Intercontinental title match. So that's the only reason. Well, I don't know if I should say this, but well, first off, I'll give this 3 stars. I mean, it was a fun match, but I would have loved to see more out of this. But afterwards, backstage, Adam Pearce,
JD did have a bit of a distraction, and Balor took advantage of it.
Yeah, so and because of that, that's why Adam Pearce after the match when he saw the backstage, he basically told Finn Balor and JD McDonough, you are banned from ringside. You are not going to be at ringside for the Intercontinental Championship match. And while JD McDonough seemed all upset about it, Finn Balor, you could just see, Florio, that he was actually grinning. What does that tell you?
There's definitely some tension, some unknown tension here, and
yeah, something stinks.
Something's more to this than meets the eye, and something stinks here. I smell a rat. a big one.
Yeah, Finn Balor
Extra
knows
crispy.
something. Yeah, Finn Balor knows something that we don't, and I really don't know where this is going to end up. So it's yours, Florio. It's a 3-star match for me.
3-star match for me as well. Dragon Lee taking the loss here was not surprising, but WWE needs to do something interesting with him soon. He's too good to be floundering like this. And solid match here. And it's been a long time since Finn Balor turned heel. It might be time to turn him face again soon. He feels a little stagnant in this role. So those are my takeaways from that. So a solid match there. So fun encounter for the most part. So I'll give it a solid 3 for the effort. So not much more to say. We move on to a 6-man tag team matchup, as it was we had the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods teaming up with Grayson Waller. They squared off against Eric and Ivar of the War Raiders and Penta. And the babyface team, Penta and the War Raiders, win the match in 8 minutes and 40 seconds. We have seen New Day and War Raiders fight so many times that it feels like there is nothing new they can do at this point. But it has been long enough since their last encounter that this didn't actually feel repetitive. All 6 men looked good, but Eric and Ivar were the stars of this bout. The crowd was clearly happy to see them in action. Solid performance, even if it was on the predictable side. But it could have been much better with a little more time. So because of that, I'm going to give this an excess of 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. Not much more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to give this about 2 3/4. I mean, yeah, I mean, it was fine. It definitely could have been better, but yeah, I mean, yeah, nice win for the babyface team, and yeah, and I don't know if you saw Florio, but as New Day were making their way in, they literally snatched the phone from a fan, and then Grayson Waller literally stomped on the phone.
That's going to cost you some dollars there, friend.
Yeah, remind me. I guess the fan wanted to just take a selfie and Xavier Woods wasn't having any of that nonsense. Well, according to him, and Grayson Waller made sure that phone is no longer in use. Yeah, remind me to never have my phone anywhere near those 3 Hammenegger jabronis. So it's yours, Florio.
All right. And now this is where the business picks up here. The business picks up as this was the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship matchup. Dirty Dominic Mysterio, the champion, defending against the challenger and former Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion in his own right, the phenomenal AJ Styles. Winner of the match in an even 16 minutes. And still the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. It is Dirty Dominic Mysterio, all because of El Grande Americano. Did you hear that crowd in France yesterday for AJ Styles during that entrance?
Oh, they were loving him.
They kept doing that even throughout the commercial break, for goodness sakes.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, go ahead.
The only thing I can say on this before I give it to you, Bullock, is how WWE did not strike while the iron was hot. Give AJ the title, especially with how uber over he was in France, and yet they kept it on Dominic Mysterio. That's a little questionable to me.
Well, here's the thing, Florio, and remember, you and I talked about this. We thought, we felt like if this was going to be in the main event, I think this is where I thought AJ Styles would have won it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but because it wasn't the main event, I just had this feeling that Dominic was going to retain. I mean, I get where you're coming from, Florio, but yeah, if it was the main event, then if it was the main event and then this happened, I would understand your argument 100%. But because this wasn't the main event, I think they had to go this route. So, but it was still a fun match. I'll give this about 3.5, 3 3/4. I mean, I could have given it a much higher rating, but the El Grande Americano interference really took something away from it. But yeah, it looks like El Grande Americano is helping Dirty Dom, and you wonder if El Grande Americano will have any say when it comes to the Mega Campeon championship match at Worlds Collide when Dominic takes on Vikingo. And I'll say this too, Florio, because I think because of this, with Dirty Dom retaining, I think Vikingo is going to retain the Mega Campeon. If Dominic lost the title, I would have said he wins the Mega Campeon. But because of him retaining, I don't see that happening now. Even though there's going to be a lot of fans who are going to be pissed off about it, and they're probably going to be pissed off with me for what I just said. But hey, as Jesse the Body Ventura would say, Florio, I'm just telling it like it is. So it's yours, Florio.
I could joke and say that's my line, Bullock, but I'm not going to go there because we all tell it like it is on this show, all of us. So
I was going to say we all do,
not just me, even though Jesse's my guy and always will be. But anyways, I could have given this 4, but I'm going to bump it down to that 3.5 to 3 3/4 threshold that Bullock did because of what happened at the end. This match ended up having more commercials than usual, which hurt the flow and presentation a little. The fans were loud and on their feet almost the entire time. Dom played his role as a cowardly heel perfectly, while AJ leaned into the crowd reactions. The raucous French fans helped make this match feel more important, and Styles and Dominic did a great job giving them reasons to cheer. Unfortunately, El Grande Americano, a.k.a. Ludwig Kaiser, showed up and attacked AJ while the ref was distracted. Mysterio took advantage and hit a frog splash for the pin and the win. Other than the fact that this had to have a dirty finish, this was an enjoyable performance. The crowd was singing for AJ during his entrance. It was one of the rowdiest entrances of the night. They were still singing after a commercial break, like I mentioned before. And Michael Cole noted that this was the first time that the Intercontinental Championship had been defended in France since all the way back in 1993, when the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels defended the title against Bob Backlund. How about that for a little fun fact? I didn't even know that. In 93, that was, for me and Bullock, that was our heyday back then. So, but anyways, 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star, down from, we would have given it 4, but 3.5, 3 3/4, that's definitely the correct rating. You could even call Fight of the Night on this if you wanted to. All right. Now we get into the segment that has the entire IWC and social media and so many others around the world buzzing, including myself and Michael Bullock and so many other content creators here on YouTube and all that. We thought it was going to be the main event. The main event tag team match, of course. So, but no. CM Punk came to the ring and called out Seth Rollins. But what he got instead was the Women's Intercontinental Champion and Seth Rollins' wife, Becky Lynch, coming out to her husband's music. She mocked the crowd for chanting for AJ Lee. The man ripped into the best in the world for insulting and attacking her husband repeatedly. She called Rollins a coward, and Lynch said he is everything Punk will never be. Well, Punk called Rollins a coward, and Becky said he is everything Punk will never be. The Visionary eventually came out and told Punk to say what he has to say to his face, but Lynch blocked Punk's path. She slapped him several times after Rollins walked away. The Second City Saint said she would regret putting her hands on him. Becky Lynch was the star of this segment. This would have been another standard Punk promo had it not been for the fire that Becky showed during this. And there's no question about it. This was, no doubt about it, this was the segment of the night. And of course, this is where the speculation game begins now.
Well, yeah, let's get to that because we all saw what happened backstage.
We all saw what happened backstage. After the segment was over, CM Punk with Raw General Manager Adam Pearce, and CM Punk had a little question for Adam Pearce, and that question was, "Where's SmackDown this week?" And Adam Pearce said Chicago, and CM Punk said Tremendous.
What does that tell you, Florio?
What could that possibly mean?
I think it's obvious.
Fairly obvious.
And I'm going to say it right here, right now, Florio. I think this is where we get the return of a certain crazy chick that we haven't seen in 10 long years.
You think?
That would be AJ
Lee.
I mean, it's Chicago. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, yeah, this is where it's going to happen. And it's going to happen on Fletch's show.
On top of John Cena being there also.
Yeah. I mean, it was already big with John Cena being there. Now you throw this in here. Now this is where I mean, look. I mean, we already know that that you got the Chargers and Chiefs going on Friday night on YouTube. I think this is WWE's way of countering it by saying, you know what? I think we're going to do this to make people tune in. And all I can say is me and Florio, we're going to be tuned in. And this is the time we're going to have our SmackDown chat because I want us to have that chat when that moment does happen.
Yes.
And can you imagine, Florio, what's going to happen when you hear that lighted up theme song? Ooh-wee. That crowd in Chicago is going to explode, and in a good way.
It'll be just like when CM Punk did the unthinkable at the end of the Survivor Series War Games in 2023 in that same building.
Oh my goodness! That like I said, if that does happen, oh my goodness, this is going to be. And I think this is where it's going to lead to one of, if not the most anticipated mixed tag team matches of all time at WrestlePalooza. CM Punk, AJ Lee against Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch.
There you go.
I mean...
And look at this card already.
Yeah, you got the Women's World Championship added.
And I apologize for not mentioning that beforehand. I was just thinking about this big moment here. But yes,
I did mention it.
Adam Pearce did make this official in a little vignette earlier in the show that at WrestlePalooza, it will be Stephanie Vacour versus Io Sky for the vacant Women's World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And the winner of that match will be the new Women's World Champion. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And on top of the rumored matches that we got.
You got what I think is going to happen, John Cena going up against Brock Lesnar.
Which will be the main event.
Because, like you said, John Cena's going to be there. But the other 2 weeks, Brock Lesnar is going to be on SmackDown.
September 12th and 19th, he's advertised.
Read that into it what you will. And then also maybe...
And John Cena going for his 100th career premium live event pay-per-view victory. Can you imagine if he gets that against the man who has been his literal kryptonite all these years?
Yeah. And then maybe you add Drew McIntyre against Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship.
Add that, absolutely.
This has got the feeling of a WrestleMania.
Well, there is a reason. There is a method to this madness.
Well, hold on. I was getting to that point.
Yep.
Because remember, for all you folks who know, this is going to be the first premium live event under the new ESPN app.
Well, 2 reasons. That's one of them.
And what's the other reason?
The competition.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Because you got AEW All Out.
Toronto.
You put AJ Lee on that card, it's going to make
AJ
people
and CM Punk against Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch in what would be, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the most anticipated mixed tag team match in the history of professional wrestling, period.
Yeah, and you do that, it's going to make people number one want to buy that new ESPN Unlimited for $30. And number two, it's going to make people want to tune into this instead of AEW All Out. They're going for the throat.
The gusto.
Right here. They're going for the throat.
They're going for that.
And yeah, you put AJ Lee on the card, that's going to do it right there.
And this is the same week, this very week, 2 years ago, where we had that infamous incident with CM Punk and Jack Perry when CM Punk was in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And CM Punk and Tony Khan fired CM Punk. Can you imagine 2 years later, CM Punk in his hometown on Friday night brings in his wife, AJ Lee?
Oh, that is going to be
the ultimate FU to Tony Khan in AEW.
Oh, that would be the ultimate FU to Tony Khan in AEW. And it's going to make Tony Khan look like a total buffoon, which he already is.
And you know the other terms that we have for him, of course.
Yeah, but we're gonna keep it as
we're gonna keep it clean here because that's what we do.
Yeah,
so,
but
you get the gist.
But all I can say is, Florio,
oh my God,
that Friday night is gonna be well worth watching because it's got to be AJ Lee. Because if not, then
it would be the biggest creative malpractice ever.
Yeah. Yeah. So all I can say is WWE, the ball is in your court. You need to capitalize on this opportunity if you really, really want to stick it to AEW.
And what's their selling
point?
Because
if you want to make people want to buy your ESPN Unlimited and literally give the ultimate FU to AEW and their event All Out, you got to pull the trigger on this.
Yep.
You have to.
Yep-a-roo.
Because if you don't, this is going to be the ultimate open door opportunity for AEW. So, Triple H, Nick Khan, I'm going to send this message to you right here, right now. Do not F this up. Do not swerve us.
You have one job.
You have one job. That is to bring AJ Lee back. You've heard the crowd. Hell, you even got people. You even had Big E, who was on the post show. He said, "Oh, wait a minute, CM Punk has a wife too."
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard certain rumors for you that in the past, WWE has shot down that opportunity to bring her in. But from what I heard now, that's not happening. What does that tell you?
Yeah, what does that tell you?
It's happening.
Oh, it's happening, baby. It's happening.
But either way, this is going to be, to me, one of the most anticipated Friday night SmackDowns in a long time.
In the IWC capital of the world.
Yeah. And you also got to wonder, Florio, could Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch invade SmackDown?
It would make sense.
And I think Friday night, when that moment happens, I think this is where we get the match made official.
We get the return of AJ Lee, and we make official the most anticipated mixed tag team match in the history of professional wrestling, bar none.
Either way, well done segment. But Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins may be laughing for now, but come Friday night, they may want to have a different. They may have a different attitude. Yeah, that smiling, that laughing, all that stuff, that could be wiped away when the crazy chick shows up. So again, I'll say it one more time. Triple H, Nick Khan, the ball is in your court. You need it.
You better believe it.
Yeah, I mean, you've made some wise decisions before, but this is probably one of the biggest decisions you guys ever had to make. Because if you swerve us on this, there's going to be a lot of people in the IWC that are going to be coming after you.
Oh yeah.
And Tony Khan's going to be and Tony Khan's going to be sitting there like,
I got a chance.
So
I'm still in this thing.
Yeah, so I think it's going to happen, but we'll wait and see come Friday night.
Oh, we will see.
So
we will most assuredly see.
So did you give a quick thought, Florio?
I think I started this, didn't I?
I think. I really got more into it.
I do believe I gave my thought on it.
Well, I think I literally got more into it.
No, I gave my thought at the start.
Oh, okay. So with that being said,
I gave my thought at the start. There's
no
doubt about it. Like I said, segment of the night. I mean, CM Punk and Becky Lynch in a promo battle. Yes, please. Two of the best to ever do it on the mic. Oh yeah, big fun.
Yeah. And one more thing. If AJ Lee shows up, you and I are going to let out the biggest one. Yeah.
4 letters, 1 word. Yeet.
Yeet. Woo-wee. So now let's get on to the main event.
My sides are aching just thinking about all this. Oh my goodness gracious. All right. As hard as it is, we have to move on and we have to get into the main event of the evening here. As it was Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed squaring off against Jey Uso and LA Knight. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed win the match in an even 14 minutes. The Bronze attacked LA Knight and Jey Uso after the match was over, but that brought out Jimmy Uso. And Jimmy came to his brother's aid. And I think we have another bit of speculation here. I think we've got another match, another possible main event caliber match for WrestlePalooza.
And I also heard Jey Uso tell Jimmy, I need you. I can't do this anymore. Could this mean that Jay's single run is over? And could this mean we could permanently get back the Usos?
The greatest tag team of this era? Against the Bronze? At WrestlePalooza? Yeet. Your thoughts on the main event? Bullock, your thoughts on the main event as Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed win in 14 minutes.
All right. I'll give this about maybe another 3.5 for the main event. I mean, yeah, the outcome to me was never in doubt because with the momentum, with the vision, obviously they want to continue it. And yeah, it looked like they were gonna do the same thing to Jey Uso like they did to Roman Reigns. But Jimmy Uso comes out and yeah, I think we can all agree, Florio, this is going to get added to WrestlePalooza. The Usos against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. You add that to all the other potential matches. I'm telling you right now, this is a WrestleMania quality premium live event.
And add to that, maybe for one night, I'm guessing it's for one night only, the return on commentary of one Pat McAfee.
Oh, that's going to make it even more special. So
Pat McAfee on commentary.
Yay!
Because it's in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
his hometown. So
yeah, so 3.5 for the main event. It's yours, Florio.
3.25, 3.5 for the main event. This match played out as most bouts like this tend to. Both teams got in about the same amount of offense. The heels cheated here and there, and the babyfaces found ways to rally at different times. Jey Uso and LA Knight almost made a successful comeback, but Breakker was able to get the victory with a spear. As usual, winning was not enough, so the heels kept up the attack. Jimmy Uso hit the ring with a steel chair to make the save for his brother. And Breakker is so good at portraying the energy of a guy you wouldn't want to meet in a dark alley. I mean, that's how scary he is. But yeah, 3.25, 3.5 for the main event, and there's no doubt about it. I think we're gonna be adding the reuniting of Jimmy and Jey Uso against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed at WrestlePalooza, on top of the other matches that are rumored. Yet we only have one match confirmed. That's Stephanie Vacour versus Io Sky for the vacant Women's World Championship. And add to it the other potential matches that we could be getting on this show. As the first show on that new ESPN direct-to-consumer app. And then on top of that, the way to stick it to the competition, AEW All Out. Their major selling point, the reuniting of Edge and Christian, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage when they go up against FTR. Don't get me wrong, that match will be a banger. The match is that's probably gonna steal the damn show on that night. But what else do you have to show for it? Nothing. So, but they got a few weeks to figure that out. So, but anyways, 3.25, 3.5 for the main event. Overall thoughts. Monday's Raw was a relatively average episode that was elevated by a loud and rowdy Paris crowd that never seemed to lose its energy. Chants and singing echoed in the arena all night, but a couple of people got louder reactions than others. AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship was easily the fight of the night, but Dragon Lee and Finn Balor put on a great performance that was also worth watching. The fallout from Clash in Paris and beginning of the build toward WrestlePalooza took up a lot of time, but the show had the usual number of matches to keep the action going. CM Punk and Seth Rollins continuing their feud makes a lot of sense, and it should be interesting to see how they fill time between now and their showdown. And yes, it does look like CM Punk's wife, AJ Lee, is on her way back to WWE, and it will very likely be as early as this Friday night's SmackDown at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois. So 7 to 7.5 out of 10. That's the appropriate rating for this show, I believe. So I give it 7 to 7.5. Michael Bullock, your thoughts, and then we'll get into NXT.
Yeah, I'm going to give it about 7, 7.5 as well. I mean, it was a solid show. I mean, it definitely could have been better in some ways, but yeah, I thought it was overall. I thought they did a good job. So, 7, 7.5. So let's quickly get into NXT.
All right, and when it comes to NXT, with Homecoming and No Mercy on the horizon, NXT hit the CW network airwaves tonight with a broadcast headlined by a massive 8-man tag team match, a grudge match, and the first bout in the Women's Speed Championship #1 Contenders Tournament. What went down in each of those contests, and what did it mean for the Black and Silver brand, and how did it affect the road to those two high-profile events? Find out now with this recap of tonight's show. And we started it off with a women's match, as it was Jada Parker, Ms. Parker, if you're nasty, squaring off against the Bougie Bully, Lash Legend. And the winner of the match in 11 minutes and 35 seconds, Lash Legend. Lash Legend picks up the win here. yo, Jada Parker and Lash Legend are top prospects in the NXT Women's Division and will likely be ready for a main roster call up within the next 6 or so months. They had a good competitive bout that did not reinvent the wheel, but rather highlighted how far they have come in their development in the WWE superstars. Though the finish was decisive, the post match attack by Jada Parker suggests there is another chapter to be written, perhaps as soon as NXT Homecoming on September the 16th at Full Sail University, where NXT started, or the premium live event September 27th, known as No Mercy, in Fort Lauderdale at the War Memorial Auditorium. So this match, this rivalry is far from over. So 3.25 stars for the effort. I'm a little surprised by the outcome. I thought Miss Parker would have gotten this one because of how over she is, but in a way, I'm actually kind of happy that Lash won, because remember, she had that big match with Nia Jax some time ago, and yet they fed her to Nia Jax, and I think this was their way of making it up to her. So good for them. Good for them. Even if it did come at the expense of one of the most popular women in the division in Miss Parker. So 3.25 stars. Not much more to say. Michael Bullock, Lash Legend, big win over Jada Parker, 11:35.
Yeah, and I'm actually fine with this. I mean, I know some people thought that, wait a minute, the momentum was with Jada Parker. Why didn't they just give her the win? And you basically just said it. Because here's the thing. Lash Legend had so much momentum until Nia Jax basically screwed her out of an opportunity at the NXT Women's title, and they basically fed her to Nia, and yeah, it's been nothing but downward for her. I think this was their way of making it up to her. So, I mean, in the past, I would have said that this was the wrong call, but I think after what happened with Nia, I think this was the right call. So, what was the time again?
11:35.
3.25 is my rating. So, let's move on.
Yeah, move on indeed. And all right, then there was a lot of backstage stuff. More stuff with Blake Monroe and Jordynne Grace, and it led into a match later on where Jordynne Grace would square off against the Evolve Women's Champion Callie Armstrong. So we'll address that later on. Then we had a promo segment. Javon Evans. All right, I know Bullock's probably going to have something to say about this.
As soon as I heard about this, I was like, I'm ready to channel my inner phenom mode, and not in a good way.
After losing his latest NXT Championship opportunity against Obafemi at Heatwave, Javon Evans hit the ring to address the brand's faithful. Stuttering and stammering, he fought through the emotions and doubt that set in after his latest loss. He discussed the toll that defeat took on his confidence before an Undertaker tease turned out to be the arrival of Josh Briggs, much to the dismay of the fans inside the WWE Performance Center. Briggs insulted Evans, told him to man up, and delivered a cheap shot that leveled the young star. He retrieved the steel chair, set it up, and delivered a chokeslam where only Evans' head appeared to clip it. And Josh Briggs stood tall to close out the segment. There's nothing more. I mean, Michael Bullock, Josh Briggs went there. He teased an appearance from your man, The Undertaker, and he shows up and he takes out Javon Evans. But next week, Javon Evans, a chance to get some payback. Javon Evans versus Josh Briggs next week.
Well, first off, I'm getting this off my chest, and Florio, I know this is your channel, but
if you need to throw out some bombs or so, go right ahead, but not too long, please.
I mean, Josh Briggs, you no good motherfucking piece of shit. I mean, it's one thing to mock people, but when you tease an appearance of my favorite guy and you literally mock the crowd with that, especially for me, the biggest Undertaker fan. Yeah, Yeah, the fans are already pissing all over you. Now I'm pissing all over you. And you know what? You fucking suck, you fucking no good piece of shit. You want to disrespect the legend? I'll tell you what, if the Undertaker saw this right now, I hope he calls out this piece of shit. Yeah, some classy guy you are. So, yeah, it was a fine segment, but to me, it was really nothing much to write home about. So, as far as I'm concerned, Josh Briggs, you can go to hell. Straight to fucking hell. I'm done. It's
Listening
yours.
to Briggs give Evans the old timer talk, taking shots at him for what his generation is about, when he is only 32 years old himself, rings a little hollow. With that being said, this segment got Briggs tremendous heat, especially with the tease of a potential Undertaker appearance, only for him to step through the curtain. The crowd hates the guy, and if NXT plays its cards right, they could have a ready-made heel champion ready to go if and when Obafemi gets his main roster call up. So that's all there is to say on that. We're going to leave it at that. Then we had the speed tournament match. TNA's representing TNA, Xia Brookside, squaring off against SmackDown's Candice LeRae. And the winner of the match in 2 minutes and 36 seconds and advancing to the next speed tournament match, it was the Poison Pixie, Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae wins the match. Of course, this was by default the worst fight of the night, obviously. It was an action-packed match full of nonstop moves, counters, and reversals, culminated with LeRae delivering a picture-perfect tornado DDT out of the corner. And from there, she delivered a springboard moonsault to finish off Xia Brookside to ensure that TNA did not advance. And LeRae will battle the winner of next week's other tournament match between NXT's Laney Reed and AAA's legendary Fabi Apache. MF could tell you stories upon days about Fabi Apache. The idea of the WWE speed may not appeal to many, but there is an argument to be made that the high energy setting of NXT is the perfect place for it in the company's landscape. From a quality standpoint, Candice LeRae and Xia Brookside packed about as much as you can into a 3-minute window. But barring the second coming of 1-2-3 Kid versus Owen Hart from the 1994 King of the Ring, the quality of the tournament and its matches has a ceiling. So that's really all I can say on that. I'll give it a solid 1.5 to 2 for the effort. All right. And then we went into General Manager Ava's office, and Josh Briggs was in the locker room, and a lot of the guys got in their face, but who really got in their face was Chase U, Cale Dixon, Uriah Connors, and Andre Chase. And Dixon and Connors implied that Andre Chase would teach Briggs some respect, so that set up a match later on between Andre Chase and Josh Briggs. General Manager Ava spoke to several women in her office, and she announced that next week, the teams of Sol Ruka and Zarya, Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame of the Culling, and Fatal Influences Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix will meet in a triple threat elimination match next week. And the winning team will get a future shot at Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. And then we had another promo segment here. TNA World Heavyweight Champion Trick Williams took to the squared circle to address the NXT faithful. He feigned caring for NXT in a way that the other stars who have come through the brand have not before, admitting that as soon as he has that Raw or SmackDown money, he is gone and will not care about the brand or its fans either. And then Mr. Williams got interrupted by two of the greatest mainstays in the history of NXT. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, DIY back in NXT. What? Ciampa and Gargano interrupted him to a thunderous ovation as they celebrated 10 years since their initial arrival in NXT. Chants of welcome home reigned from the stands as the love the fans have for DIY was readily apparent, despite the fact that they're heels on SmackDown. Ciampa questioned Williams' assertion that he is the greatest superstar in NXT history, touting his own status as a two-time world champion and Gargano's 3 runs as North American champion. Gargano said it didn't matter if you were a demon or a hugger, undisputed or glorious, referencing the best the brand has ever produced before saying it was heart and passion that made them great. So it is astonishing how revitalized Ciampa and Gargano were just from this one NXT appearance. They fed off the energy that simply has not greeted them on the main roster. So very good segment here. So great to see them. And it made sense because, hello, Johnny Gargano's wife was just in action, Candice. So it's only fitting that Gargano and Ciampa were there. So, because they are a package deal after all. So, great segment nonetheless. So, not much more to say. Michael Bullock, how about it? DIY back in NXT confronting Trick Williams and actually laying him out. How about that?
Yeah, obviously, because you know that they are one of the mainstays of NXT, and with the way Trick Williams has been trash talking about it, I don't think these two were taking it lightly. So they basically said they confronted him, saying we ain't taking that crap lightly, and Trick tried to jump them, but yeah, that did not end well for him. So yeah, it was good to see DIY back in NXT. So I'm interested to see where they go with this whole thing with Trick Williams. So it is yours.
Absolutely. So all right, moving on. Just need to see what we have here. All right. Evolve Women's Champion Callie Armstrong versus Jordynne Grace in a non-title match. Jordynne Grace wins the match 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Michael Bullock, I don't think this necessarily is a championship committee moment. It was just, a nice bounce back win for Jordynne Grace. It's been a while since she's had a nice win. And then after the match was over, Blake Monroe comes out, and the feud between Monroe and Grace is not over by a long shot.
Yeah, it's not over. It's going to continue here. So 2.5 stars is my rating for it. I mean, yeah, this was a win. I think definitely Jordynne Grace needed. But yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to add on to it, so it's yours.
Yeah, 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. Let's see. Putting the inexperienced Callie Armstrong in there with a pros pro and Jordynne Grace, who has seen and done it all over the last few years, is the sort of booking choice NXT makes to its benefit. Learning on the fly will always be an effective means of learning and development. Jordynne Grace and Blake Monroe, like Jada Parker and Lash Legend earlier in the night, appears destined for one of the 2 big NXT shows upcoming. Based on the star power and the quality of their work, it could easily headline either show. So 2.5 stars for that. Then they had this great vignette for Lola Vice, which is obviously going to continue next week. So we'll keep an eye on that. Then we had Andre Chase squaring off against Josh Briggs. Josh Briggs wins the match 5 minutes and 40 seconds. If the chants imploring Josh Briggs to go away are any indication, the crowd loads the guy. Whether it is the right kind of heat is debatable, but there is no denying the effectiveness of Andre Chase's near falls when it looked like he would topple the big man. This is another solid 2.5 star match. Bullet, quick thought as Josh Briggs wins in 5:40.
Yeah, I'll give this about 2.5 as well. So nothing more to say. It's yours.
All right, main event. Well, before we get to the main event, let's set the table for next week's show. NXT North American Champion Ethan Page versus Tavion Heights in a flag match. Yeah, you heard me right. They're going to have a flag match. Sol Ruka and Zarya versus Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix versus Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame. Triple threat match for a future shot at Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss's WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. And Javon Evans versus Josh Briggs. Main event of the evening, 8-man tag team matchup. NXT champion Obafemi, his next challenger at No Mercy, Ricky Saints, as well as Hank and Tank, squaring off against all 4 members of Dark State: Dion Lennox, Osiris Griffin, Cutler James, and Saquon Sugars. Of course, Dark State in possession of the NXT Tag Team Championships. The winners of the match in an even 12 minutes. It was the team of Obafemi, Ricky Saints, Hank Walker, and Tank Ledger. Now, here's the thing. Obafemi and Ricky Saints, they came to blows during the match. So that left Hank and Tank all alone against Dark State. But I think it was Tank Ledger who said a certain someone's name and he appeared.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.
And thanks to Joe Hendry, the babyface team wins the match in an even 12 minutes. Whoa. Michael Bullock, how about that for an ending?
Yes. Yeah, all you had to do was say his name, and he appeared. And that's what we got here, folks. Joe Hendry appeared and made sure that the babyface team walked out the winners here. So, yeah, so I'm going to give this about maybe 3.25, 3.5 here. So, fun match, and a very fun ending, if I might say so, Florio.
Oh, absolutely. By default, the fight of the night, 3.25 to 3.5 stars. Ricky Saints and Obafemi's partnership breaking down and leading the blows, but not necessarily costing the babyfaces the win, was a nice change of pace, considering other WWE booking trends. With that said, this was the opportune time to go to the normal route, if for no other reason than sustaining Dark State's momentum and credibility. The Henry spot was fun, so there was that. So 3.25, 3.5, by default, the fight of the night. Overall, solid in-ring content helped, but this was a show that looked to the future and showcased the vision the NXT creative team has for its upcoming Homecoming and No Mercy events. That the brand seems to know what it wants to do and has a plan to get its competitors there makes for a more cohesive show than what we have gotten from the brand in the past. Was it a little heavy on Josh Briggs this week? Absolutely. But there was enough elsewhere that should make up for it. Last week's show was a dumpster fire. I'm sorry, but this show, a little better, but not a whole lot better. So I'm going to give it a thumbs in the middle. I'm going to give this around 5.5 out of 10 for me. Definitely better than last week, but not a whole lot. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, your overall thoughts, and then we'll do a quick preview of our opening Thursday night NFL game.
Yeah, 5.5. Better, but not a whole lot better from, but not. Yeah, what you just said there. So 5.5. Let's get into our preview of the first official NFL game of the season.
Boy, oh boy, this year has flown by insanely fast, and here we go. For the first time in almost 7 months, we will have meaningful NFL football. A brand new NFL season kicks off this Thursday night at 8 o'clock on NBC and Peacock from Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as your reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles, open up the defense of their Super Bowl championship against their hated divisional rival, the Dallas Cowboys. 8:20 on NBC. You already know who's working it. As always, back for another season, Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Stark. Philadelphia opening up as an 8.5-point favorite. And the series history, it favors the Dallas Cowboys 71-57. Last year in Philadelphia, the Eagles blew the doors off the Cowboys 41-7. And Dallas has not won in Philadelphia since 2021. Final score in that one was 51-26. So Philly has won 3 straight at home against Dallas, looking to make it 4. So with that being said, here we go. Okay. Set it up here. All right. The Cowboys defense will be overwhelmed by the loaded Eagles offense with its returning shakiness versus the run and no Micah Parsons leading the pass rush. The champs will get some typical big pass plays from Jalen Hurts before putting it away with Saquon Barkley tapping into a familiar winning formula from the Super Bowl run. The Eagles won both meetings last season by an average of 31 points a game. The Cowboys traded Micah Parsons ahead of Brian Schottenheimer's debut as coach. How will Dallas respond? Saquon Barkley averaged 116.5 yards with 3 touchdowns in 2 meetings against the Cowboys last season. Dak Prescott's and a TD's a lot of points in an NFC East rivalry opener. The NFL kickoff has been decided by less than 7 points in 5 of the last 7 seasons. But regardless, I am going with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close game. I wouldn't be. My gut tells me to go 28-23, but my heart is telling me that Philly's going to win this one comfortably, like, say, 31-14. But regardless of it, I have the Philadelphia Eagles opening up defense of the Super Bowl championship with a big, rousing success on Thursday night. So give me Philly. Nothing more to say. Bullock, take us home.
Yeah, I mean, it could be close, but I think eventually Philadelphia is going to pull away because I really think the Micah Parsons trade is going to hurt the Dallas Cowboys eventually. So, yeah, I got the Philadelphia Eagles winning and starting the defense of their Super Bowl championship in a big way. So, nothing more to say, Florio. Let's put a bow on this and set up the future content.
And we will do just that. And that will indeed put the bow on this installment of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We will be back with you again on Thursday night at 10:30, right back here on the Tone 25 for for the Week 2 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. Not a very exciting slate, to be honest with you, with the exception of maybe 2 games. One game in particular, we only have one real must-see game. And that is the Saturday night game of the week on ABC, number 15, Michigan, at number 18, Oklahoma. That's going to be great. The only other good game I see on this docket is the Battle of Iowa between Iowa and Iowa State on Big Noon Saturday on Fox. And an interesting sleeper matchup between Illinois and Duke. Keep that in mind for a possible sleeper matchup. But after we're done previewing the Week 2 action of the college game, we're going to preview the Friday night game of the NFL between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers, exclusively on YouTube from Sao Paulo, Brazil, just like last year with Green Bay and Philly a year ago. So we get KC and the Chargers opening up. That's going to be something. So that'll be on Thursday, and then Friday night, 10:30 here on the Tone 25, the season premiere of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. We'll quickly recap the Cowboys, Eagles, and Chiefs Chargers games, and then we'll get into the remaining slate of week number 1, headlined by a rematch of last season's divisional playoffs between the Baltimore Ravens and my Buffalo Bills at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo on Sunday night. Man, oh man, is that going to be something. And then 1 week from tonight, or should I say Saturday, we will also then have the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF, TNA Impact, Friday Night SmackDown, and that anticipated SmackDown on Friday night. We'll get into that on Saturday, and then 1 week from tonight, Ridiculously Raw, as we continue the road to WrestlePalooza and NXT as well with Raw, and we'll preview the first game that will take place on the season premiere of Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime Video, a matchup featuring the Washington Commanders and the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. That's going to be something. So that's it. So until Thursday night for the Week 2 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday, this is Anthony Florio here on behalf of all of us here at Talking Wrestling TXN, good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phenom Michael Bullock, and of course, always and forever, our First Lady. Well, actually, we have Bullock back. Okay. So that threw me off a little bit. So until Thursday night for the Week 2 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday, this is Anthony Florio here for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, of course, always as always, good old MF Michael Fletcher, as well as, of course, our First Lady of Talking Wrestling TXN, the one and only Twisted Angel Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Thursday night for the Week 2 edition of College Football Thursday, you have been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.